Welcome back to the Hobby Diaries. It's been a while, I know. I don't even know how long it's been since my last video, but I have got so much to show you, so much to tell you, and we're going to have fun. Most of you already know, but my 2024 ended terribly. Resulted in me taking a sort of step back from all of this content creation, if you like. I wasn't actually sort of doing any of my hobbies. When I wasn't just kind of rotting on the sofa, I was playing Call of Duty just to numb the mind. But yeah, it's not been a great time, I won't lie. I'm not going to go into details, it's not something I really sort of want to share and talk about, but I just kind of thought I needed to give you an explanation for where I've been. So there you go. The good news is we are all fine. Me and my little family are absolutely fine. Nothing to do with them. I'm fine, I'm healthy, I'm good. It's just something unfortunate that happened, and yeah, it took a little time to kind of heal from, and I will continue to do so, but I'm good, I'm back, I'm good. So as I say, I wasn't involved in any of my hobbies, I wasn't enjoying anything really, I was just down in the dumps, to put it lightly. However, I started to dip my toe back in, and it was the announcement of new Iron Jaws stuff that got my attention again, got me excited, and you know, I missed this. I missed you guys. I missed the joy that I had refound in painting miniatures and playing Warhammer, and I feel like I'd just started to enjoy it again, and it got taken away. Well, it didn't get taken away, but you know when you're just not in the mood, or some big life thing happens and you just don't have time or the desire to, you know, get down and hobby. So everything kicked off before Christmas, over Christmas and New Year's. It had been a few weeks since I'd really done any type of hobby. I hadn't picked up a paintbrush. Like I say, the only thing I could be asked to do was sit and play COD. I then dabbled in a little bit of Space Marine 2 on the Xbox, which Luke bought for me to sort of just try and perk me up a bit. And that obviously got the sort of Warhammer cogs turning again. Great fun. I haven't delved too far into the game. I have done some like sort of solo campaign stuff, and I did jump on with a friend from Instagram the other evening, which was very fun indeed. Really enjoying it, so looking forward to playing more of that. But as I say, the hobby cogs had started to turn again. I'd started to get a little bit of a buzz back for Warhammer anyway. And then there was the announcement that new Iron Jaws stuff was coming. Now, if you followed me for a little while, you'll know that that used to be my army. That was my competitive army. That was the one I took to tournaments. That was the ones I loved painting. I loved Iron Jaws. So one weekend, Luke had been at a tournament at Athena, and when he came home, he surprised me with a box of Brute Rages. Absolutely stunning models. I've had my eye on them for a while, so that just perked me up. That just gave me that little sort of kick up the butt to get back to the desk and do a bit of hobby. Now, I wasn't sure if I was even going to share them on Instagram. I wasn't even sure I was kind of coming back to Instagram or YouTube or anything like that anytime soon anyway. I thought I'd probably just have a little bit of private hobby time, but just picking up that brush again, it just made me feel so much better. Last time I took a big break from sort of hobbies and socials, it was the last thing on my mind that I wanted to do. It didn't make me feel any better. I could not be bothered. Didn't want to even look at Warhammer, you know. But this time, it was a lovely distraction. It just made me feel joy where I hadn't done at all for like the previous month or two. But yeah, it just got everything flowing again. So a big thanks to Luke really for kicking me up the butt and just helping me find the joy in my hobby again. Over Christmas, I was lucky enough to have been sent various different packages from different brands. Honestly, they all just came at once. Like, one person contacted me, and then a few days later somebody else did, and then somebody else, and it was like, what is happening here? Like, oh my god, what is going on? And of course I said yes. I said yes, absolutely, I would love to receive these things, I would love to try these products. And I was so ready to sort of do all these reviews and all of these unboxing videos and stuff. And then said event happened and the boxes just stacked up unopened. Couldn't even face them. But I also had this like guilt, like I really need to do something with these. Not that I had any obligation to post. This wasn't like a paid sponsorship or anything like that. This was we'd like you to try these products, you know, just have fun. There was no obligation for me to then post or do any unboxing videos or anything like that. However, I was still feeling guilty. And I also started to feel a bit intrigued about what was inside. But as I say, as the flow started to come back and the love for the hobby started to come back and I started to feel a little bit better mentally and physically, I thought it's time to get stuck into these boxes. Now, I will show you all of this on another video. If I show you in this video will be like 4 hours long. And I don't think I've got the phone storage for that. But yeah, some really, really great brands have contacted me and have sent me some wonderful things. You can see quite a few of them behind me, but we'll get to that. You'll have to excuse me if this is one big ramble. You know, we've got so much to talk about, and I haven't done this for a while, so bear with me. We are still playing a lot of Spearhead at home. I am still really, really loving Spearhead. I just think it's fantastic. And if you haven't played it yet, what are you doing? Why haven't you tried it yet? It's absolutely fantastic. I'm just trying to think back to what my last Hobby Diaries was even about. I'm sure I was due to attend a Spearhead tournament at Athena. That's it. And I had my Nurgle Spearhead and I was trying to paint it that weekend in 2 days to get it ready for the tournament. I'm pleased to say I did succeed at the challenge of painting the entire Spearhead in 2 days, ready for the tournament. It didn't win me a best painting, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't my best work, but considering I only had a couple of days to do it, I think it looked pretty good. I will show you them in a bit once we go over to the desk to see what I've been up to recently, but I think they look alright considering. I was up at like 6 in the morning, sat here in my dressing gown doing the last bits before the tournament to get them ready. And I think they look alright, to be fair, but we'll see what you guys think. So yeah, we are still really, really loving Spearhead. We have played so many games at home. We've experimented with different Spearheads. I don't know how many we have between us now, but we've combined various different matchups. We've played each other's Spearheads to see how we find them. Didn't like Flesh Eaters at all, not gonna lie. I don't know, Luke does so well with Flesh Eaters, but it's obviously a user error on my part, but I didn't enjoy that one. I've recently been using my new Soulblight Spearhead. Fantastic, love it. And I'm actually creating a 2,000 point list now. I actually want to grow the Soulblight army and yeah, get them on the table. That's one of the things out of many that I absolutely love about Spearhead is it's a lovely little taster of what the sort of whole army would be like. The abilities do differ slightly between Spearhead and full AOS, but you still get the gist, you still get the play style. They don't differ that massively, so you get a really good idea what that army is like. So it's good. It's a good in to full AOS, which I think is what their intention is anyway. It's kind of replace the start collecting box. So far I've played Seraphon, Nurgle, Soulblight, had a little go with Flesh Eaters, didn't like them. Iron Jaws aren't great, I'm afraid. Unfortunately. They were the thing that gave me the hobby buzz back after my break just recently, but the new stuff, I can't say I'm overly impressed so far. However, we'll see how it goes, but from the first glances at the new stuff that's come out and actually seeing the Spearhead in action, disappointed, I'm afraid. But Soulblight is, I suppose, my current big project at the moment. I almost forgot Gloomspite Gits, which I've actually got notes today, or I'd forget everything that I came on to say. How could I forget Gloomspite Gits? I have been playing their Spearhead recently, really enjoy that, and I've also dabbled in a 2,000 point list full of trogs. I own a fair few Gloomspite models already, really, really enjoy painting them, but I'd actually never played with them before. I think I maybe had one game with them, if I remember correctly, at our old place, old edition as well. And I didn't get on with them. I didn't really like them too much. It was just a mixed mashup of models. Like there wasn't really much structure to it. It's just whatever I owned, I made into a list. So they didn't do too well. But as I say, I've always enjoyed painting them. So I was really keen to try their Spearhead and paint up the trogs. Trogs are amazing to paint. I really, really love the trogs. So yeah, we did that. The Spearhead, very, very fun. Really, really enjoyed their spearhead, and as I say, it's then developed into a 2,000 point army. I have had a couple of games of AOS with my Gloomspite. Very Trog heavy list. We've got Trug in there as well. Big boy, absolutely beautiful model. First time I played, did incredibly well. Saying that, Luke was playing Nurgle. He's not really played much Nurgle before, so second game, not so much. I was playing against Ben and his Slaves of Darkness though, and they were nasty. They were so nasty. Like, oh, I don't know what's happening half the time. I think is it the Chosen, are they called? They were just like a blender. They were just ripping everything up. So yeah, a good learning experience. Had a great laugh. Loved playing with Ben at the NWC, but my Trogs, poor old Trug, wiped off the table. But I will continue to use them and I will continue to play them because they are really fun. I do like the play style. And yeah, they're great to paint. My Age of Sigmar army has been something I have been debating for a while now. I still feel like I haven't found my army. As I mentioned before, Luke does incredibly well with Flesh Eater Courts. He knows them inside out now. His list is spot on. He does very well with them. I know a lot of people who have their like specific army that they always use, that they're known for, that they love, and I just can't seem to find mine. Used to be Ironjaws, but they were all right. They were quite a simple army to play. Back in the last edition anyway, it is just smash and bash and just try and overpower and kill as much as you can, really. Nurgle has been an ongoing battle for me. They've never been super strong. Now I know at LVO a Nurgle player did really well, but I think that's an exception because apart from that, they don't seem to ever be that great. Before their last book came out, they were dreadful. I still played and played and played them, and I kept tweaking the list and I just kept trying to flog the dead horse that is Nurgle and just try and get them to do well. In the end, I just got so frustrated. I was like, I can't play Nurgle anymore. I just can't do it. New book came out, and they were a bit better. But still not enough. With this edition of AOS, they are incredibly fun to play. I love their sort of disease shtick that they have. You can like win games on just disease alone. You don't even need to do the damage yourself, like in shooting or melee. All in the disease. But I'm just getting bored of them now. I'm just getting bored. I feel like I've hit the wall with them and I feel like I need something new. I don't buy into that whole new year, new army thing because that just seems like a whole FOMO thing to get you spending more money, you know, blah, 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 the usual. But I do feel like I need something to just give me that drive. One of my hobby goals this year is to really up my game when it comes to Age of Sigmar. I want to go to more tournaments. I'd love to go to a 2-dayer. I'm more involved with the NWC now, which is our club on a Friday where we go and play Age of Sigmar. So it's been good to start to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. It's all good playing at home, but getting to play some new people, some new armies, and just get myself back out there. But I just feel like I need a new army. I feel pretty happy with my Gloomspite list at the moment, though I've only had a couple of games with it, so I do need to play some more just to see if it does live up to the task. And then of course we've got Soulblight. Now Soulblight came onto the scene as part of a challenge between me and Luke that never really sort of went ahead in the end. It was just a fun challenge. It was the Spearhead challenge. We chose an army for each other. We chose a Spearhead box for each other. And the kind of challenge to it was we picked one that we didn't think the other would ever pick for themselves. So Luke picked Soulblight for me because I have never played a Death army before. I've never been interested in the Death faction. None of the armies really appeal to me. Was never sure I'd get on with the play style. Always been used to sort of destruction, so just smash, bash. Whereas the Death seems a bit more sort of technical. A lot more sort of horde armies. I don't really get down with the whole horde thing either. It just seems like a faff. Painting all in tiny little models and just... So he chose Soulblight for me, and at first I was like, okay, thanks for that. But hear me out, they are really, really growing on me. The last 2 or 3 evenings I have played their Spearhead and really, really enjoyed it. The skeletons, I thought, they look so boring to paint. You know, as I say, I don't get excited by painting a horde of the same little miniatures, but the way they play in Spearhead, I'm falling in love with them. I think they're great little characters. I'm actually really looking forward to painting them all now. The Blood Knights, amazing. Vargheist in Spearhead, very good as well. And I've decided that I am going to pursue Soulblight as a full army. When it comes to building a list, there are so many options. You've got the vampires, you've got the zombies, you've got the skeletons, you've got wolves, you've got bats. Like, there is a lot to choose from. So when it comes to making a list, I was like, where do I begin? But after a bit of reading, a bit of playing around on the app, I feel like I've got a good starter list to go on. I do need a few extra models though, so I'll be adding to it gradually. I'm going to start painting what I have and just see how it goes. Whether I find my dream army out of Gloomspite or Soulblight, who knows, but I'm sure I'll have a lot of fun along the way. I plan to go to as many tournaments as I can this year, even if they're absolute shark tanks. I'm just going to get myself out there, get used to the kind of tournament scene, meet some new people and just have fun. I'm under no illusion that I'll do well. I'll probably do terribly, to be honest. You've got to get out there, haven't you? The only way to get better at this game is to keep playing. So that's what I'm going to do. To be fair though, my game sense and sort of my technical thinking, you know, a couple of rounds ahead and thinking about battle tactics and deployment and positioning has come on. I don't know where from, just out of nowhere. I just feel like something has clicked in my brain when it comes to AOS. So I'm rolling with it. I'm just trying to hone in on these skills and just get as many reps in as I can and I just want to get better. Of course, I will take you all with me to any tournaments that I go to. I plan to vlog so much this year and just share this hobby journey with you all. As I mentioned before, I am attending the NWC regularly now. Luke used to go every Friday. I kind of felt put off about going. I thought, oh, I'm going to lose all my games, or it's a bit of a boys' club. It is a sausage fest, to be fair. I'm the only woman there. It wasn't like that at all. They're all absolutely lovely. I don't feel like this little outsider anymore. I do feel part of the group, and it's great fun. So I would love to do some more behind the scenes of what we get up to. I really want to see the club grow, get more of a presence. So I'm trying to think of some fun ideas of how to sort of show you more of the club side as well. So watch this space. I've actually got on with quite a bit of painting recently. Considering I've been a bit on and off with the hobby, I'm really pleased with what I have got done so far. And I do feel like I've got this painting motivation back again. I'm really looking forward to painting my Soulblight. I think I am going to do a bit of a challenge when it comes to those. As you will know, I received some wonderful, wonderful paints from the Army Painter. I got a set of the Wargamer Fanatic and some of the speed paints. I love them both. I'm telling you now, I am a convert already, I think. I love them. Since I opened the packs, I haven't used anything else. I've used 1 or 2 Citadel, just like those little staple colours that I know I like. However, I've already found a lot of colour matches for some of my favourites anyway, so I will be using Army Painter a lot more. They are incredible. I will do a full review in a different video, but they are fantastic. Absolutely love them. I'm not sure what I was expecting really, because I used a couple of Army Painter paints. This is some years ago now, and I didn't rate them at all. It literally was just like 2 paints. It was like a goblin green and some kind of bone colour, I think, but I didn't really like them. I don't really like contrast paints. I'm sorry, I don't. I keep trying to like them, I keep trying to use them, but I just don't like them. So when I was offered a set of the speed paints to try, I thought, I'll try them because you're offering it to me, Army Painter, and yeah, I'd love to try them. But I did wonder whether I'd get on with them or not. I was pleasantly surprised. Oh, I love them. I absolutely love them. I painted my entire Trug, the Trogoth King, with the speed paints and he was done. He was done. I think I started at 7 in the evening, and by the next morning he was done. I didn't stay up all night painting him. I have spent about 2 or 3 hours at my desk, I think, that evening, because I really got on a roll. And then the next morning I kind of just finished him off, and he looks stunning, if I do say so myself. So, back to the Soulblight Spearhead speed paint. I'm thinking I'm going to paint the entire spearhead with just Army Painter speed paints. And of course I will document the whole thing. I'll tell you exactly how I got on using only speed paints. So I need to get my Soulblight all primed and ready to paint. No idea on the colour scheme yet, though I do get a kind of like Dark Souls vibe from them, or maybe Bloodborne, if that makes sense. I want them kind of dark and dingy, maybe a little bit rusted for the skeletons. Don't want them super bright. I would like a little like OSL vibe going on, but I don't know if I can do that with speed paints. Is dry brushing allowed in my speed paint only challenge? Maybe I'll do them all in speed paint first, just to say I've done the challenge, and then I'll add a cheeky dry brush after. So I think I've waffled on for long enough, and I think it's about time that I showed you my desk update and what's on it. I recently had a thorough clean and sort out of my desk, my equipment if you like, had a good sort out of all my paints, threw away all the ones that had dried up, looking at you Citadel. Yeah, I needed some more shelves for all of the paints that I've been sent over Christmas. Very, very grateful for them, but I was wondering where I was going to put them all. There are still a lot of changes that I want to make to my creative corner here, but I am so pleased with how it's coming on, and it's a pleasure to sit here in this little corner and paint. So I will spin you around. I'm going to show you my kind of desk setup, my updates to it, what products I've been loving. I'll touch on a few of the bits and pieces I have been sent, though I'll do full review videos later on. And I'll show you a few of the work in progress and complete minis. Let's go. So here I am at my desk, and as you can see, I'm in different clothes because it is in fact the next day. So yesterday, while filming the big catch-up for the Hobby Diaries, I filmed about 70 minutes worth of footage. 30 of that was me taking you on a desk tour, showing you my new setup, showing you the products I've been loving, my work in progress, my finished miniatures, and when it came to editing, I discovered that half the sound was missing. Now I have just had a little rant on my Instagram story about this, but if you haven't seen it, I'll explain. My iPhone camera, the default camera on my phone, the microphone doesn't seem to be working. It sounds like you're underwater, it cuts in and out, or it just doesn't capture any sound at all. So to get around this, I've been using my Yeti Blue microphone plugged into my phone using this adapter. So the microphone plugs in here, the telephone plugs in there. I don't know why I just said telephone like that. However, the issue is persisting. I don't know what's wrong with it. Could be to do with the fact that I am still on the iPhone XS. I don't know how many iPhones have come out since this one, but maybe it's a little bit dated. Maybe it's not working as well as it should do. I don't have thousands of pounds to drop on a new iPhone. Same goes for a camera. So many people have said to me, oh, get a camera, get a camera. To get a decent vlogging camera for YouTube and things like that, you need to spend £600 upwards, and that's cheap. You can get cameras for £200 or £300, but it'll be worse quality than this phone itself. So today I dug out my little Bluetooth microphone that I got sent some years ago now, the Smart Mic Plus, but that seems to be having its own issues. So I did plug it into charge, as it's been sat in a drawer now for some time. It shows it's charging, but as soon as you unplug it, the light goes off. So whether it's actually holding charge or not, I was unsure of. It does seem to work, however, it is incredibly muffled. Unless I literally hold it here to my mouth. It's not plugged in right now, I'm just showing you. Unless I literally hold it here, the sound sounds so muffly. But the point of these is you're supposed to be able to clip them on and they capture the sound that way. You're not supposed to have to hold them here, but there we go. But I have downloaded the Smart Mic Plus app, which is what we're using right now. This has its own built-in camera, and despite the microphone not being plugged in, we have sound. I even have a little sound bar that's going up and down right now, so I know the sound is being captured. The video quality could be better. The sound, not perfect, but it's what we have to work with right now, and we have lights, sound, camera and action. So let's try this again. I am going to take you on a tour of my desk. I am going to show you the updates, the upgrades to my setup, as well as how I store and organise some of my hobby bits. I'm going to show you my work in progress miniatures, my projects that I've got on the go, and my plans for future projects. I'll touch on a few of the things I did get sent over Christmas, though as I mentioned before, I will do full in-depth videos on those a bit later on. If not, this video will be far too long and I just want to get this out now. So with that being said, let's get on with the desk tour. So here we are, this is where the magic happens, and if you've been following for a while, you'll remember how this creative corner started out, and we've made some improvements since then. As you can see, I have a new cutting mat. I had a raggedy old green one and I loved it to bits, but I'd had it for so many years, it was time for a funky upgrade. So I got myself a nice purple one. This is double-sided. It does have a nice bright pink on the other side, but purple is my jam, so that's what we're going with. So I started off with just a cutting mat. I had this little paint storage area here, a mug of paintbrushes and these two shelves, and this was about the extent of my paint collection really. A few Citadels, some Reaper paints, some Green Stuff World, a few Vallejos, but yeah, this was it. There has since been an upgrade. I have plenty of shelving up now. Thank you, Luke, for putting those up for me. And I've got room to store my new paints. I was lucky enough to receive the full Turbo Dork collection. Honestly, I was blown away when I opened the box, and if you haven't heard of Turbo Dork, you need to get to know. They create some of the most gorgeous metallics in such funky colours. Honestly, they are insane. I've got a little colour chart up here. I can't really show it, the light is a bit reflective. But as I say, I will do full videos on these things a bit later, but I'm just going to give you a quick glance now. Absolutely stunning. And over here we have my new Army Painter paints. We've got some of the speed paints there and the War Paint Fanatic. These are from the Most Wanted collection. Again, very kindly gifted to me from the Army Painter. Feeling incredibly blessed to have these. They are fantastic. I do think I'm going to convert over to a lot more Army paints now. They are absolutely phenomenal. But again, as I say, I'll do a full review and go into it in a bit more detail a bit later on. But yeah, just a quick glance at my new shelves for my paints there. I've got a little shelf down here for some of my favourite minis. I've got a lot more in storage, but I just thought I'd put a few out for now, just so I have some out for display really. That's probably one of my favourites. Absolutely love that. It was my first go at non-metallic metal. It's not perfect, but I really, really like him. I think he looks good. So yeah, there's my little minis. Now this here is from Lidl, in the middle aisle, of course, and I use it to organise all of my little gamer's grass tufts, little terrain pieces. I've got some pastels in here, which are good for weathering. Odds and ends like bits of model or sort of work in progress bits. I do have a Soul Blight hero in here waiting to be built, but so I don't lose all the bits, I'll just pop it in there. So yeah, really handy. Keep an eye out in the middle of Lidl for one of those. So I'll show you a close-up of what I actually have on my desk, starting off with the Wargamers edition, the extra large Army Painter wet palette. I am really, really enjoying this. I think it's fantastic. I love the size. I'm quite a messy kind of creative painter, so this gives me lots of room to play with. I really, really rate this. Again, I'll do a full review on all of my Army Painter stuff a bit later on, but yeah, this is fantastic. If you have the smaller version already, it's well worth the upgrade. I love it. It's got this dry palette, are they called, inside too, sort of for your speed paints or your metallics, a little area to put your paintbrushes, and I just think it's amazing. Over here we have my hobby organisation station. This was kindly bought for me from my Amazon wish list, so thank you so much again for that. And I mean, I try and keep it organised, but it does get a little messy. But let me just show you what I've got in here. Over here I've got some dry brushes and my Game Envy brushes. I really love those. And of course my orange brushes, they do need a clean. I'm so sorry, orange brushes, don't look too closely at those. They do need a good scrub. But yeah, absolutely loving orange brushes, as you know. I do have a review on here, but it is from when I first used them. It was basically a first impressions kind of video. and I do owe you all an updated one. But I am pleased to say that they are still up to the task. I am still loving them, and I am now sponsored by Orange Brushes. So I have been given a 10% off discount code for these. So if you do think about buying an orange brush or two for yourself, then make sure you use the code LASSHAMMER10 and get yourself some really decent, affordable sable brushes. In here we also have my Game Envy hobby holder, absolutely brilliant. A lot of people ask me what this thing is. So this is a finger stabilizer, if you like. So it helps you keep a steady hand while you're painting. You kind of just rest your fingers against it. It's hard to show you with one hand, hold on. So I'll whip the tripod out quickly just to show you how this works. So hold this part with whichever hand you're comfortable with. Pop your finger there, and then when you're painting, you just rest your finger against the finger rest there, so it helps keep a steady hand while you're painting. So if you do have shaky hands, this comes in handy. I do use and enjoy a lot of Game Envy products. I use the hobby holder, I use the little water pot. As I say, I've got some of their brushes. I have been using their wet palette for years. At the moment, I'm just trialling this one out so I can give it a fair test run to give you guys a review. Doesn't mean my Game Envy one has been kicked off the desk for good, but I do use a lot of Game Envy stuff, and they did recently get in touch to give me an affiliate link. So if you do shop from GameEnvy.net, do use my discount code, again, LASSHAMMER10. I don't want this to turn into like a whole advertisement thing, but I'm showing you my products, I'm just being honest. So yeah, they are definitely worth checking out, and you get yourself a little discount as well. There is some really random stuff in here, I admit, but here is my forbidden peanut butter, as I call it, my Vallejo earth texture. This is my go-to for bases. I use it all the time, so I keep that there to hand. In here, an odd mixture right now. I've got some new weathering pencils. Found these on Amazon. I've got no idea what they're like, but I've seen people use them on Gundam models. I've seen a lot of videos of people using those, so I'm looking forward to trying those out. Random Game Envy brush, so it should be with the others. An army painter brush. I've not used this one yet. That came with the palette, actually. Got my snippers in here, my texture spreader, if you like. I've got these paintbrushes here from Minotaur Hobbies. Again, I got sent those just before Christmas. I am a lucky girl recently. I've had so many lovely little things sent. I can't get them back in there. I've only given them a quick go so far, so I can't really give a full review yet. Though I did get this little very dirty palette. It didn't come like this, don't worry. This little palette where you can just pop the paint out when it's dry, and it's so satisfying. But yeah, this has been good for speed paints and metallics, so I don't mess up my wet palette. I will test these out a little bit more thoroughly before I get back to you on these ones, but so far so good. I've only used one of the brushes for like 15 minutes or so I'll come back to that one. I've got this random glue stuff in here that I haven't used yet, but I've seen people do like the slime and the drool coming from like the mouths of tyrannids, and apparently this is what you use, so I'll be trying it at some point. Cocktail sticks, I mean, I thought they might come in handy for something. I can't say I've actually really used them yet, apart from to unclog dropper bottles that do get a bit clogged, so they're handy for that. But I thought they might be handy for little dots, maybe like eyes, who knows, we'll give it a go. But yeah, a random mixture in here. These are my shit brushes, as I call them. So these are the ones that I don't mind getting kind of crusty. Use them for like texture, terrain. My big dry brush is just a cheap makeup brush, things like that. So they're just what I don't mind messing up. Here is what I like to call my hotbar. So when I'm working on a project, I'll keep all the paints that I'm using in here, just so I know where they are. I don't have to hunt through the shelves to find them. I can just quickly grab them if I need more. But at the moment, it's just full of these Citadel contrast paints that I don't have room for on the shelf right now. I will have room soon. I'm keeping my little Spitfire up there at the moment, but I'm going to build that soon. So then I'm just going to shove all the miscellaneous paints up there out of the way. But yeah, they're just on there for now. Can't say I really get on with contrast paints. Speed paints, yes. Contrast, No, I'm so sorry. I've tried to like them, but I don't. So they're just going to get shoved up on a shelf soon. I keep some odds and ends in here. This is just junk at the moment. My hobby tools are all in here. So like my files, hobby knife, my little army painter hobby drill. They're all just in there. Some tweezers and clippers, just so I can grab those. And some little work in progress bits in here. These are my orcs that I'm working on. So I'll just keep them in there just so I know where they are. This one's done. He just needs his base finishing, and I need to get on with these two. Yeah, my little work in progress bits are in there. Little vampire lord, she's waiting to be painted. She's all primed and ready to go. Then I've got my Ohuhu alcohol art markers, my felt tips, because I have been super into colouring lately. It's so relaxing in the evenings, rather than just sort of scrolling on my phone. If I don't feel like painting, I'll just sit down and do some colouring in. Honestly, it's so therapeutic. Moving this way, we have my little hobby bin. Again, this is just from Amazon. I just use it to throw my little odds and ends in from the desk. Kind of keeps it tidy. My empty cup of tea. I need to top that up. Hobby, these bloody brushes again. Here I've got my air purifier. I turn this on when I do any building because me and plastic glue, we do not get along. I'm lucky that Luke is happy to build most of my minis for me. But yeah, a little air purifier on here. At the moment, Pinky is sat here. I need a bigger shelf for her. She doesn't fit on any of the shelves because her like backpack is so big. She doesn't fit on a shelf, and she really needs her own little shelf up there with her new boyfriend that I've built, but she just sits and watches over things from there at the moment. I've got a little desktop phone charger. Needs a dust. Keep my watch on here, and you charge your headphones on this bit. Very handy. Tripod when I'm doing little close-up videos on the desk. Spaceman, who gives a bit of mood lighting, projects onto the ceiling. Random pens and odds and ends in here. Notebook, always need a notebook, whether it's content ideas or just things I need to quickly write down and remember. So yeah, that's the desk so far. So there we go, that is my desk as it currently stands. I am so pleased with how it's come along. There are more improvements and more upgrades I want to sort of gradually make to it just to get it exactly how I want it. It's just going to be a continuous process really of sort of tweaking it as time goes on, but I'm really happy with how it's looking so far. If you've got any questions about anything that I've shown you, like any of the products, or you've spotted something on my desk and want to know where it's from, just let me know in the comments. So I've shown you my desk itself, but now I'm going to show you what's on the desk. I'm going to show you my work in progress. I'm going to tell you about some of the projects that I'm planning, that I'm working on. And yeah, just show you what I've been up to really. So first up is my Nurgle Spearhead box, part of the Spearhead Speed Paint Challenge I mentioned earlier in the video. And considering I only spent about a day and a half really on these, I am so pleased with how they came out. Like, they are not going to win a Best Painted anytime soon, but for a quick rush jobby, I think they look pretty good. Plague Bearers all in that same lovely teal colour. The scheme I came up with was so quick and easy to do. I'm honestly really pleased with them. Honestly, for such a rush job, I'm not too disappointed in them, to be honest. Blight Kings, they were fun to do as well. I just chucked on some aged metal, a bit of Nihilak oxide, I can never pronounce that properly, and just a quick wet blend of the skin. I think that was Bugman's Glow and Screamer Pink. Job done. The flies were a pain in the ass, I'm not going to lie. They were such a chore. The wings, I can't tell if I love or hate, but these were done at like 6 in the morning. I was sat here in my dressing gown the morning of the tournament, quickly trying to finish this guy, so... But again, I'm pleased with how it's turned out, considering I spent so little time on it. It's not the worst job in the world, but you can see it was a rush job. But yeah, they were a pain. But overall, I'm so happy I kind of challenged myself just to get these done. Sometimes it is very easy to spend too long on miniatures and become, too much of a perfectionist, but these were purely for the table. These are table ready, and I'm pleased with them. It got me out of my comfort zone. It got me out of that perfectionist mode, and yeah, I had fun doing it, especially this one. This is probably my favourite. Yeah, job done. Next up, we have my Soulblight Gravelords. So the whole collection I have so far is built and ready to be primed, all in this box here. There is a Seraphon in here. I can explain. My Seraphon spearhead is pretty much complete apart from this one hand and weapon. He had the wrong hand attached until we found the correct one, so I kind of just need to tape him up and prime his weapon and just get some gold on it and he's done. But I keep forgetting, so I've popped him in here in the hopes that I'll remember when it comes to priming this lot. But my Soulblight spearhead is in here ready to be primed, as well as the Dawn Guard box, so these little bats and the wolves and things. And honestly, I am loving these miniatures. They've really grown on me. I thought the skeletons looked kind of boring at first, but his janky little stance, like honestly, I love them. And I'm so excited to get these painted. So as I mentioned, I am planning to paint the whole spearhead in Army Painter speed paints only. I haven't quite figured out my colour scheme, but I'm sure I will. But really looking forward to painting these and seeing where this army go. I am planning to grow this army and see where it takes me, so watch this space. So here we have some miniatures that have actually been finished. My trogs here from my Gloomspite Git spearhead. I am really pleased with how these have turned out. A lot of people do paint Gloomspite in very bright colours and they look great, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. The story behind these is I kind of envisioned them at one with the environment, proper like rock trogs, so they are made out of rock. They've emerged from the ground, so they are still sort of covered in this grass and dirt here, sort of really overgrown. They're kind of mossy. I really like this idea. At first I wasn't sure. They kind of looked a bit weird. They looked like they'd just been primed grey, even though they had a layer of speed paint, some highlights, some dry brushing, and they still just looked like they'd just been primed grey. It was only when I started to add like the decoration and the moss and the other little bits and pieces that they really sort of came to life. So I am really pleased with how these turned out, and I just love their little faces. Look, this grumpy little face. Love them so much. So yeah, really happy with them. And then here is Trug, the Troggoth King. What an absolutely stunning model he is. And again, the speed paints were the heroes of the hour with this. I spent a handful of hours on him. I think I spent about 2 or 3 hours on him one evening and then finished him off the next day. And just this model just has some gorgeous details. Again, I wanted him to be kind of like a forest spirit, if you know what I mean. Very sort of Princess Mononoke vibes, the little sort of tree spirit in there. But yeah, that's the look I wanted to go for. Like they are proper like forest beings. And yeah, they just look great together. Love this model, love the speed paints, and I can't wait to paint more of the army. This one is for the Gundam fans. I built this one a couple of nights ago. Very easy build, but it was still really enjoyable. I absolutely love him. It is a little boyfriend for Pinky over here. I think he's great. I think he was just an entry grade level build, so as I say, he was really easy to build. I believe my pink one over here, I think she was H grade, whatever that means. I'm still getting used to all the grading, but I think I'm ready for something a bit more complex now. She was fine to build, he was super easy to build, so I want something a little bit more complex next time. So what's the next one up? Is that MG? Do let me know, because I'm still trying to get my head around all the grading and what all the little different model names and numbers are, but yeah, love him. He was just a nice little relaxing build the other evening. And on the topic of model building, I found this again in the middle of Lidl, this Airfix Spitfire. Now, I love planes. I can't name every single plane ever. I can't take one look at a warplane and tell you what it is, but I just know that I find so much joy in watching planes. Whether it is old wartimey planes or commercial flights, I love it. I don't know, I think some people might think that's sad, but I love planes. I mean, one thing that is quite sad is I'll hear a plane go over, and depending on what time of day it is, I can tell you which flight it is and where it's going. Oh. Anyway, yeah, I go to air shows. I love planes. I have a few boxes of the Revel sets to do. I've got about 3 or 4 different planes there. Yeah, I thought I'd pick this up from Lidl. It was about £6, £6.99. They had other planes too, and they also had tanks, so keep an eye out in Lidl if that's your thing. There may still be some. Yeah, can't wait. So I've shown you a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff as well as Spearhead, but I do have something for the 40k fans as well. As I mentioned, I was the lucky winner of Evie Mental Health's giveaway over on Instagram, and what I won was this amazing Blood Angels Combat Patrol. Now, I know I said I was starting a Salamander's army, but it looks like I'm starting a Blood Angels one as well. And I do have an idea of how I want them to look. They do look very neat and sharp in their clean cut armour with their edge highlighting, but I have a more weathered look for them in mind. I kind of want to do them a kind of dark, rusty, old blood kind of colour, if you know what I mean. So more of a dark red. I want chipping, I want weathering. I want them to look like they have been in battle. I might even splatter a little bit of blood around just to, you know, really hone in on that blood thing in Blood Angels. Same goes for these ones up here. I'll probably keep them gold, but I will do them a bit more weathered, like they really have been through the wars, you know. I'm really, really excited to paint them, to be honest. And if that wasn't enough, the giveaway also came with the Sanguinor. I don't know much about 40k. I'm not even going to pretend I know who he is or what he does. I don't know how to play 40k. I've had about 2 or 3 games in the past when my brother tried to teach me. I don't know loads about the lore, but I do know that this guy looks super cool. I cannot wait to paint him. Half tempted to try some non-metallic metal on him and to really make him pop, but yeah, he should be fun to paint. Looking forward to that. And this guy, he came in the box as well with the giveaway stuff. I'm not sure who he is or what he does, but he looks a cool little fella, doesn't he? But yeah, I am so grateful to have been the winner of this giveaway. As you all know, I am trying to get more into the 40k side, so I have a great excuse now. So thank you again, Evie Mental Health. I'm so glad your mug is here so I can keep plugging you. Go and give this guy a follow. He is absolutely amazing. And continuing with the 40k journey, we have this lot. These bits at the front are just terrain bits, but in here we have all of the combat patrol stuff received so far, so a lot more space marine stuff and some Tyranids. These look super fun to paint, but I'm just struggling to decide on a colour scheme so far. I really do need to get some of this done. The 40k stuff is piling up now and there's more. I also took part in Hobby Vice's Secret Santa that he runs every year, and my Secret Santa present was these 2 amazing AdMech boxes. I love AdMech. I know I don't know how to play 40k, but I love AdMech. The lore that I've read about them so far I really like, and they've been so fun to paint. I have a whole load in the loft. I'll have to get them down and show you sometime, but I've had great fun painting those. I used to paint them on stream, but these guys look really, really fun. I'm really looking forward to getting these built and painted. And these ones are cool. I absolutely love these. I've never really seen these ones before, but these look fun. So I was really happy to have received those as my Secret Santa present. And if you haven't checked out Hobby Vices on Instagram, please do. The Secret Santa is a yearly thing, and it's so fun. Some really, really great presents go out, and you receive some great ones yourself. So do check that out. More AdMech for the AdMech army. So I think that's probably a good place to wrap up the big catch-up for the Hobby Diaries. I think I've shown you everything that I'm working on. I do have a few more bits to show you, but those are for another video, another day. I have a huge cardboard box filled with a whole brand new hobby that somebody wonderful on Instagram sent me again just before Christmas. All these things just came at once. I don't want this to sound like some kind of advertisement video and I'm just like, I received this and I received that, but they did literally all come at once, so I'm going to tell you about them. This is a hobby that I have mentioned in my story before. I had an Ask Me Anything story and somebody asked me about this particular hobby. I said I'd never tried it before, I've never really heard of it, and somebody reached out to me to say I have a lot of spare stuff that I've received from a Kickstarter, so let me send you some out and you can give it a go. I did not expect to receive so much. Like, this box is huge and I'm so excited. I don't know anything about this hobby or this universe, if you like, but there are some really cool things in there. So I'm going to do a whole separate video just showing you what is in there, and I'm sure I have some fans of this particular hobby within my following as well, so you might enjoy this one. As I mentioned, I have had an absolute nightmare trying to film this video. I have had to switch between about 3 different apps just to get this filmed, and I'm really hoping everything comes together nicely when I now go and edit it. The edit in itself is going to be a chore. Apparently my storage is almost full to the brim as well, so I'm going to quickly wrap this last bit up. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like the video, leave a comment and all that lovely good stuff. Check the links in my bio here and on Instagram for all of my socials, all of the ways that you can support me in the channel if you so wish, and all those lovely discount codes for you all. Anyway, take care and see you on the next one. Mwah.